What's up, guys? Welcome back. Amazing RC. It's your boy Brian, and today we're going to talk about our G-made Sawback here and some of the really cool upgrades that I just got done doing this morning. Now, this one comes to you from a few weeks back. A very good friend of mine told me to get rid of my battery placement. Said it was way too high and there was probably a much better place to put it. Told me to see if I could shove it underneath my really cool 3mm slab of carbon fiber. And to be honest, it's exactly what we did. Not only did I do that, but as you can see, I've got my FPV Fat Shark camera up here, and I'll show you exactly how I got that installed as well. I think it's a much better placement than where I had it prior. I actually made this giant foam block here and covered it with a bunch of Velcro, and I had him in place of our driver here, and well, he wasn't very excited that he was booted over to the passenger seat in place of this camera. And I thought that the optical placement was a little off as well. It did give me a really cool camera angle with the top of the steering wheel, and I had the hood in there, but what it didn't do was give me a very good look at the rocks that were coming up. My wheel placement was all off, so we went ahead and ditched the old foam block there in favor of a nice spot right on top of our light bar. I think this gives us a really good vantage point to see exactly what kind of terrain is coming. I know it's not exactly looking over the steering wheel. However, it all comes down to where I'm able to see the best as I'm using my Fat Shark headset. Installing my Fat Shark camera was really cool once I decided to put it on the light bar here. One of the things that I did so that this wouldn't just start flopping around as we're going over our terrain was to add a bit of Velcro. Now, I had already had Velcro on the bottom of my little camera here. As you can see, I've got some fuzzy side of Velcro here, got this little removable foam block, and then here on top of the light bar we get a little bit of the prickly side of our Velcro. But what's really cool is you may not even be able to see it from there, but on our grill here we've got a few strips of fuzzy Velcro. They're hidden in our black lines that are made to represent the grill. Once we get our camera disconnected here from the Velcro, we can easily remove our body. To move the battery meant quite a bit of work. Basically, where my battery was before was up here laying parallel to the wheels. Our Hexfly ESC, which came out of my Gen 7 Pro, was sitting over here next to my receiver box. Getting the battery way deep down inside here meant cutting off a good large portion of our 3mm carbon fiber. And that's exactly what we did. I drew a line basically right along the back end here, making sure that I had just enough room in between our transmission and the rest of the steering linkage up front, as well as our drive shaft down below. Once I found that I had just enough room to get things going, I lopped off our carbon fiber, and then I got a hold of these really cool aluminum 90-degree brackets here. The holes that were inside the brackets were not big enough, so I went ahead and drilled those just a little bit larger, and away we went. And now it was on to mounting our opposing 3mm slab of carbon fiber. Now, this slab here is what's going to hold our battery in place, and it's only going to be held by 3 strips of Velcro. Once I got my slab of carbon fiber sanded down, all the burrs knocked off to where it's able to be touched and, well, not cut a hole in your hand or your battery either, it's onto installing it. Basically, all I did was hold it in place, grab my marker, throw a couple lines in the carbon fiber, and then take those 2 brackets back off, hold them down to the carbon fiber slab, go ahead and drill my holes, basically bolt them down, and then install them back to the other slab of carbon fiber that we have here. And it came out absolutely perfect. As you can see, everything is nice and tight. Our telemetry cable has just enough room, and we achieved exactly what we were going for, which was to get this battery from way up here to way down here. Now that we have everything all put together, cruise control still works. We're gonna get this truck right on outside and take her for a ride.
Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and drop the old Sawback on the ground here. First place we're gonna check out, we're actually at the base of my driveway. This is gonna be going out to check out the access road that takes us down to the main road. It takes us into town. Should have a cool little steep hill here. We can kind of check this out. Hey, here we are, steep hill. Kind of go up here, vroom, 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 vroom. A little bit of reception drop, which is fine. Now we're on the concrete portion here. There we go. Now we should be back into line of sight, which we are. Now we'll come back on our driveway. So this is actually the beginning of not only my driveway, but my neighbor's driveway. Now, one of the things that I wanted to do before I try to sneak up on the old neighbor later on this evening is I wanted to make sure that I knew exactly how far I could go as far as reception drop. Now, this is a Fat Shark Scout system, so it's the visor, so it's really close to the entry level that you can get into. We're entering my neighbor's driveway now. They're not home, which is perfect. So I can kind of go down here and kind of check things out, kind of see what's going on. Now, when they do come out and hang out here, they're going to hang out right over in this area. They usually like to light a little fire and hang out and talk amongst themselves. Now, see, we got just a little bit of reception drop here. So, well, I guess I can go a little bit forward. I guess if I go really slow, let's see how much closer we can get. Nah, probably want to back her on out. You know, I got a question for you guys out there in FPV world. I've got this FPV running off of the power of my receiver. Would I get a little bit better reception if I were to run this off of a separate battery? Answer that for me, guys. Anybody that's got some FPV running out there, because I want to go, you know, as far as I possibly can. And if it comes just down to swapping, you know, the power system, you know, to the FPV, of course I'll do it. Now, they have a lower portion of their driveway. It's almost like a second driveway. We're going to check that out too. And that's where we're going now. So we'll hop on down here. And to my immediate right is a pretty sheer drop-off, so we got to be real careful, you know, going too close to that. I will say this, I am super jacked that I chose to remove the FPV camera from behind the steering wheel. I know that would look really cool, but as far as being able to see over the hood of the truck, I mean, it's just not even happening. So we can get down here pretty deep, which is good. That's what I was hoping for. What is this, giant hill? Ooh, giant hill stops reception. Let's not go that way. So I'm glad that I can get down here as far as I am, because this should be far enough. Now, of course, I'm going a lot faster right now. The truck's making a huge racket. You know, I'm not sneaking up on a giant bear, you know, in a truck this loud. But I mean, I can really remember cruise control. You know, bam. That's pretty quiet, and it's extremely slow. So it's really cool to know that cruise control works, obviously, this far away. Of course, if I have any reception to the truck, it's going to work. I mean, my FPV is what's stopping me from going anywhere. With this R7FG dual antenna receiver from Radiolink, I mean, I could probably go down to the 4-lane, which is, you know, a quarter mile away. This is my driveway here. We actually go up quite a bit farther to get up my driveway. Now, the reason I sat at the bottom of my driveway is specifically because I should have, you know, line of sight for the FPV signal in 3 different directions. Now, I took you out to the road. That was a pretty short trip. And then we went down both driveways of my neighbor's house. That's kind of where, you know, we're going to try to sneak up on them next time they have a little campfire going on, which is relatively often. So we should have that video coming up really soon. But my driveway is extremely long, so we'll take a little trip up here. I'm assuming that as soon as we get up to the Veloster Turbo up here, we're going to lose reception because it levels out pretty quick. I don't know what grade this is, but it's pretty steep. So Of course, Komodo has no problem in doing it. Hey, there's the old friend into the car. So here's my place here. As you can see, we're starting to get some reception drop, and as you can see, if I get careful, if I get any closer to this side, I mean, it really drops off. Let me creep up real slow here. There's our second porch, which is at the bottom. But I mean, if I were to go any further forward, it's pretty much straight down. The porches are built up on kind of like stilts, kind of hangs over the side of the mountain there. So we'll take a trip back down the mountain here and kind of meet back up with the man sitting on the bucket. And I tell you what, guys, once I get this thing back out here and it's nice and cool outside, and of course dark, it's going to be really cool to see how well I can see out of the front of this truck with our super duper bright Banggood.com light bar that I've got attached to the front of this Jeep. I'm very excited for that. I really do love this crawl in here. I mean, you can just, so much fun. Of course, we're just trail riding right now. We're just like flying through everything, but you can really get into this, you know, trail riding and crawling. I just love this setup. I love the G-Made Sawback. I love the GS01 platform. I will get a hold of the 313mm GS02. I've got a couple good buddies out there that have that setup as well, and they love it. I do love the 285mm setup, the short body. If I had anything bad to say about this GS01 platform, it's the steering radius is horrible. Absolutely horrible. If I wanted to do this is a complete turn to the left. I mean, I can't even turn around in the driveway. I literally will have to back up and keep going. Now, I don't have an SCX 10.2. I did have a TRX4, one of the original ones that came out. Let's do a little bit of climbing here. It'll be kind of fun. There's a cool little steep spot here. But I did have a TRX4, and I don't remember the steering servo sucking, or not the steering servo, but the steering radius sucking so bad. But it is really bad in the GS01 Sawback. The steering blocks are what stop it from making a full turn, you know, left or right. It's not the servo. I mean, my servo in there will turn the truck in a knot if I wanted it to, but it can't really push through its own plastic. Well, anyway, guys, this is everything out here running, rocking, and rolling. I absolutely love this FPV setup. Like I said, it's a beginner thing right now, but I'm super duper happy with it. As soon as our neighbors take themselves out here for a little bit of campfire action, we're gonna see if we can't come down here and sneak up on them. Maybe I'll find a way to be able to project audio from me to them, or me to the truck. I think that would be a lot of fun. Side crawl. Dun, 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 dun. I love this thing. It's just so much fun. So much fun. But we're going to see if we can't crawl down there in the dark, because I do know the layout pretty well. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. But guys, we're going to get you some more really cool content featuring this Sawback very soon. I've got, I mean, I've got a ton of stuff that needs to go on here. We've got all those really cool scale bits that are going on here. I've got a ton of lights that are going on here. Like I said before, we're gonna light this thing up like a Christmas tree. So I just wanted to get it out here. And our voltage to the truck right now is 12.1 volts on a 3S battery. Remember, we hooked up the telemetry cable to the truck, and it's working perfectly fine. I've got 12.5 to the transmitter, and I've got 12.1 to the truck. As soon as I made the Dean's plug adapter for that, first thing I did was throw it in there. Had to redesign the entire electrical layout, as I spoke about earlier in the video. Guys, we're going to bring you some more really cool content very soon. Until next time, this is Brian, and that is an amazing RC.